And we're back.
Hello.
Now, for Critique-Opolis, I usually, just kind of as a silent rule, like to not pick movies that get a ton of marketing buzz. Mm-hmm. But I think this one, The Little Things, got a fair amount of play on Netflix. I didn't know anything about it, but with Denzel and... All right, Jared Leto was not initially my draw because it creeps me out a little bit. He does.
Mm-hmm, same.
And
I gave it a chance.
yeah, and then what's your boy's name?
He's not my boy.
He's your boy.
He said about everybody.
I do. What's his name? Rami Malek.
Rami Malek, yeah.
I thought, good actor, but here's the thing with him. I don't want to say, he's kind of the same guy. He's kind of the same oddball looking dude. Mm-hmm. And they tried to squeeze him into being this, how do I say it, hard-boiled detective. He's not even really hard-boiled because he's a greenhorn. He's kind of new on the job. Mm-hmm. Let's back it up a little bit. We'll give you the synopsis. This was my pick. Just from the cast, and I don't think this is normally the kind of thing you would watch.
No, but I liked this movie.
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, because why?
More a little bit, not even really a thriller. What would you call it?
I might call it a thriller. No?
I mean, it was a mystery detective story.
There you go. They have crime drama mystery
Crime
here.
drama, yeah. Kern County Deputy Sheriff Joe Deacon is sent to L.A. for what should have been a quick evidence-gathering assignment. Instead, he becomes embroiled in a search for a serial killer who's terrorizing the city. Apparently, he was a member of the LAPD investigation team, and he left. And for this podcast, we're probably it's probably best if we don't tell you why he left, because that's all part of the story. Mm-hmm. But when he comes back, his old chief, I guess he comes down just to gather evidence for something they're looking at up north, because he becomes a sheriff further up north in Northern California. Mm-hmm. And when he comes back, he kind of gets roped into this investigation they're doing down there, begrudgingly, with his old captain's approval, who apparently is kind of a religious nut, and he replaced Denzel's character. Do you have the IMDB up? Mm-hmm. I want to call them by the correct names here.
Oh, actors.
Well, yeah, the character names.
He's Joe Deacon.
And
Joe, who are you looking for?
Yeah, Remy,
Jim Baxter.
And then
Albert Sparmo.
I can't remember who the Captain Henry Davis by Glenn Morshower.
Oh,
I do not
sorry.
recognize.
Okay, yeah.
But Morshower has recruited Rami Malek as he's a cop, but a detective at this point. He's very young. He's got a wife and kid, which I know it's all for a movie, but we both commented that, there's some scenes where he's at home with the kids, and I'm like, there's no fucking way.
They lived in a gorgeous house.
This cute little house with a pool. I'm like, there's no way in LA
with
you
one
have
or
that.
two darling daughters who went to a private
school. I'm like, not on a cop's salary. I don't care if he is a detective.
And did you say there's a pool in the back?
There is.
There's a pool in the back.
It's ridiculous.
And the wife doesn't work because she's doing the home stuff.
Yeah, forget it. So just I know suspension of disbelief for the movies, but especially with everything that's going on in real estate right now, you're like,
there's no way.
That's just so absurd.
Yeah.
And
California.
Yeah,
right?
And what's funny is when I was a kid, you wouldn't bat an eye. It was that's just how it is. You just accepted it as reality. But now it's that's not possible.
Yeah, you've learned. You've come. Yeah.
No, it's different when you're an adult.
Yeah,
but like,
exactly.
I'll bet my parents did that same shit. They're like, he's not living like that on that. You can't make more than $40,000 a year.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But so anyway, Joe gets embroiled in this investigation, and he and what's Remy's guy? Jim Baxter is Remy Malek's character. They develop this begrudgingly cordial relationship to start. Mm-hmm. And Denzel employs kind of just, salt of the earth, original, old school cop tactics to figure out who's murdering these women. And Remy, I think, is kind of picking some things up, and he starts to respect him for the experience he has and how he's employing these methods to get things done. And the thing about this is going to be a hard one to talk about because I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
They think they find I'll just say this. They think they find their guy, but like, it's really hard to like, you as the audience just watching it be like, yeah, he totally did it.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, this movie ends with a lot of unanswered questions about the reality of the murders. Mm-hmm. And oh man, they picked the right guy for who to pin the crime on,
Mm-hmm. You mean an actor, Jared Leto? Yeah. He was, creepy.
He's always playing creepy criminals.
Really creepy.
You got to imagine what that pitch meeting was like. It was like, oh, now all we need is some creep dirtbag to play somebody who murdered women. Well, Jared's free. God, why would we call anyone else?
Why would we call anyone else? Yeah, exactly.
And he adopts. It's funny because he's in good shape, but like as an actor, but they funky him up in this. Like they give him kind of a beer belly, and he walks like he has a what do you call that? Like a gait. He is like he's bow-legged. Yeah, he
is. Mm-hmm.
And he walks like he has a bow-legged walk, and it's funny that aside from his face, you're like, that is not.
His eyes are really interesting too. What was with his eyes?
He just looks crazy.
Because I was like, if you didn't know,
he has very bright eyes, and I think he does stuff with his brows and his forehead to make you uncomfortable. And he had that long, stringy, unwashed hair.
Yeah.
So like, just to see him wandering around town, and he goes to strip clubs, you're like, oh my God, you're totally a murderer.
Mm-hmm. He fits the profile so, dare I say, well.
Well, and Joe is, like I said, he left L.A., and you find, I can give away a little. You find out he left because of a murder investigation, and it's been haunting him for years and years and years. And while he's staying down there, he stays in like a seedy motel, and he puts the pictures up of all these victims who were assumed to be killed by the same person. He just sits there and he looks at them all night. And you find out that he's just been tortured by this
one case forever and ever and ever and ever.
So it was a little cliche in that regard. But I got to tell you, like, people give cliches in movies a hard time all the time. Mm-hmm. But I like cliches because, I mean, like, it's almost like you need them to some degree to be able to follow the story.
Yeah, I was going to say to keep the story going. Yep.
Yeah, and
you'll understand it more.
Mm-hmm. They team up a little bit later in the picture to stake out Leto. What's his name again?
Jared Leto's character, Alex Sparma, or
Yeah.
Albert Sparma.
So they're staking him out, and he's smart. He's sharp. He knows he's being tailed, and they bring him in for questioning. But there is, like, towards the one of the more, as you approach the climax of the movie, Joe goes to investigate Sparma's apartment. While he's off doing that, no. He goes to get a cup of coffee because they're staking him out again.
Right. And they've been there for like the whole day. And it's getting late into the night.
Yeah. And while he's off getting coffee, Sparma and Jim have this interaction. They don't have like an altercation or anything, but well, they kind of do, but they have this dialogue, and he convinces Jim that he'll take him to where one of the victims is buried. And instead of like this is where I have the problem with the suspension of disbelief because of his house.
Yeah.
Instead of just waiting.
Yeah, for his partner who was down the street literally getting coffee at the gas station.
He's like, all right, we'll go. He gets in the car with a suspected murderer,
but by himself.
Yeah, it's like,
and
come
nobody
on.
knows.
Yeah, give me a break. There's no freaking cop in the world that's going to do that, even if they are staking him out, because Sparma like walks up on him
by himself. It's two guys. That's all that's there.
And I think what the writers were going for was that Jim is trying to. I'm speculating a bit here, but I think he's trying to get a little bit grizzled and a little bit of experience like Joe has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do it on his own. And
a little bit.
Yep.
And like I don't buy it because I know as a character you're too smart for that, and he does it anyway. And from that point, I'm not going to tell you the rest of it because it has a couple of twists in it that were pretty good.
I really enjoyed it.
But I think the components of resolution that weren't there make it a little. I get like in reality, everything isn't always tied up in a nice little bow.
Yeah. And
I kind of want that in my movies. Like, I get why you don't always get it, because that's how life is. But, I mean, then you get into this question or this conversation of, do you want life to reflect movies perfectly, or do you want it to be a shadow of them? And, like, it would have been nice to have known if things had stopped, if the murders would have stopped, or if they would have continued. Are you falling asleep? I don't believe it.
Why?
It's not even that late.
That's true, it's not. The two adventures I had out in the heat, I think, really got to me. The heat makes me really tired.
Was there anything in this that really gave you a start? Like anything that kind of freaked you out in this movie?
Well, I was definitely creeped out by Jared Leto. I always am. But
you like that scene when, like, he was behind a curtain in, like, the break room, and you only see the back of a couple guys' heads, and then Denzel
the first
leaves.
time I know, I was like, why am I when I saw that scene,
and he just turns around and looks. He turns around and looks, and you didn't react. And I'm like, that's Jared Leto. And you're like, oh!
Yeah, that was, yeah. No, I said earlier that I really enjoyed this movie, and I did enjoy it because it's something different than what I would maybe normally watch.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, it does leave a lot of unanswered things at the end, questions at the end of the movie, but excuse me. Even so, it was still, they presented a lot of details of the story, and I liked.
They answered almost everything except that key thing.
And they also, answered or told, showed a lot of details to the story. I don't know if that probably doesn't make any sense, but for example, Denzel Washington's character seemed to have had several past relationships that didn't work out or go well in the end, and
Oh, you mean with not the coroner, but the...
the coroner lady.
Well, didn't you figure that out with the bullet?
No, I figured it out. No, I know, yeah. But initially I thought that, I guess that...
You just thought he polluted all his relationships?
Yeah, I did.
And really you find out that he was kind of... I mean, he made a mistake, but, like, it just busted him up, and then he just, like, collapsed. And everyone was like, you got to... I think what it was is, like, all the other cops were like, you should have stuck it out. And he was like, I was fucked up over this. I got to go.
Yeah, and, I mean, it makes me wonder, too, like, in the whole, like, thing, in the whole, like, not even movie-wise, but just, like, when I see a movie like this about, like, police and the work they do, even TV shows, I just wonder, like, how do these people do this? Because I'm living my life and I'm watching a movie about these people doing this, and
You mean about cops doing... dealing with dead
dealing
bodies.
with murders and dead bodies and psycho people, and like it makes me really nervous when there's a scene in like that little conference room when people are talking. What do you call
The interrogation room?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I really...
The whole time I'm thinking, just ask for a lawyer, dude.
I like them, but they really they make me I tense up. Like, what is going to happen? And then it's like these two people are in this
Mission
room
accomplished.
together. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. But it's like I just ugh.
I think it was like, especially in that interrogation room, the thing about Chinese arithmetic. There was some great writing.
Oh, there
in
were some really great lines in there. I forgot about that. That was a really good one.
Yeah, his. I think that.
Oh yeah.
What?
I got it. I remember. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not giving away that line. No way. It was too good. I laughed out loud when I heard that.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, when you've got like, I've never been in that situation before, but when I worked for the company that picked up the deceased when people were dead, and like you know, I don't even think I had a real problem with it, but you definitely a lot of it was routine, because like some people just passed in their bed and you move them over to the gurney and that was it. But some people, yeesh, they died in questionable ways or in like accidents, and like just to like witness this, like I think Rich, he had to pick up someone from a suicide, and he's like, I still have nightmares about it. And I'm like, oh, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh.
And it was a kid too. It was like a teenager, and the parents like were there right after it happened, and he came in right like within an hour or two, and parents were hysterical. And
Oh
so
my
yeah,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, cop stuff is rough, man. Totally rough. I could tell you some more stories, but it's not really for this podcast, and especially
Not the theme here.
especially not after you've eaten. Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. But, and speaking of that, excellent transition, Jay. I don't know how you do it.
We're going to eat?
Well, no, I'm going to give people another recipe, because that's,
Oh.
you know, that's what they tune in for.
Yes.
Brought to you by Hey Honey, as it always is. This one, I'm going to mess up how you pronounce it, because it is some kind of, is it Tyrannus or Tropic? Oh man, anyone who's listening to this who knows what this is screaming into their phone right now.
Is there no pronunciation right there?
No, it's some kind of Greek thing. Teropitakia. with thyme honey. Now, don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing.
I'm not Greek. It's some kind of a pastry, but Hey Honey does not make thyme honey. I think it's personally a little overrated, but if you want, just steep your own. Real quick, the ingredients: 400 grams. Oh, this was definitely written outside the U.S. I don't know what these
grams. Yeah.
If you can figure it out, it looks delicious. 400 grams feta crumbled, 200 grams ricotta, 200 grams. Oh my God, what is this? Caffel o Gravaria, some kind of Greek cheese, grated, 4 eggs, half cup cream, pinch of nutmeg, 1 packet of phyllo dough, approximately half cup of olive oil for brushing, thyme honey. I would say just use regular honey and thyme separately. So method, pretty easy. Combine the cheeses into a mixing bowl. In a separate bowl, beat together eggs, cream, nutmeg. Add the mixture to cheese and combine. Brush 1 pastry sheet with oil and spread 1 heaped tablespoon of mixture at one end of the phyllo dough, phyllo or phyllo, tomato. Roll into a sausage shape and coil. Brush the top with extra olive oil and place onto a baking tray. Continue with each of these until you fill the tray. You can part freeze. Wait, you can part freeze on the tray as it is, and then bags. Oh, I see. Okay, so once you roll these things all up and cover them with olive oil, you can freeze them, and then take them out and bake at 180 Celsius, whatever that is. Do the conversion at your end. I'm not doing it until the pastry is crisp and golden. You cook it you bake it for 30 to 40 minutes. So leave the light on at 30 to see how crispy it is. But for sweet and savory, drizzle with honey and then sprinkle thyme on top of it. So basically, what these look like are like, how would you describe that? It's almost like it's like a Greek phyllo dough donut, but it's in the shape of a shrimp, coiled up shrimp. But the phyllo dough is filled with that cheese mixture. So you know it's going to be good. Make it, eat it, and bring some to me at market. It's not going to be on J Hey Honey on Instagram, but I have other ones that will, so tune in when you get hungry. And we commented before we started this that we know that normally we do a blacklist, but I think we're playing around with the format, so we'll do the movie review and the recipe, and then when we do the dailies, we'll do the dailies and the blacklist. Or if that gets too long, we'll split it into 3s. Who knows? Because I don't know, just doing the prep for this can chew up a whole evening.
It can, yeah. And we didn't do any prep today, really. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, but we just saw the movie. You want to talk about the movie when it's fresh in your head.
But the blacklist and the dailies are fun, so we'll bring those back.
Not even bringing them back.
Do
they
them
didn't
again.
go anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
We got other movies we want to see.
We have a list.
I'm just going to say, I know it's your pick next time, but I'm definitely doing a review of this. What was the one I sent you, the beaver story?
The Hundreds of Beavers.
Hundreds of Beavers. Oh. I saw, it's very rare that I'm going to see a preview on Instagram or YouTube where I'm just like, holy shit, I have to see this immediately.
Yeah.
But this it's like a silent picture, and it was described well in the Instagram blip about it. That it was a combination of, who's the guy from not Charlie Chaplin, the other one, Buster Keaton, and Looney Tunes and silent movies all jammed together.
I could see that. Yep.
And a little bit of animation, and it's in black and white, and it just looks like I saw maybe 30 seconds of it.
I saw it as soon as I started watching it. I knew exactly that
like,
you were.
This looks hilarious.
Yep.
And it was an independent movie. Apparently, it was at U of M. And this is not going to be the next one we're going to review. We're going to see it very soon, but it's your pick. Do you have yours picked out?
I don't have another movie. No.
I got to be doing yet again.
Well, I might.
What are you thinking about?
Not gonna tell.
You don't have. All right. I'm giving you.
If I'm not 100%, I really can't.
You don't want to?
No.
We still haven't done Grand Canyon yet.
We have not.
You got to do that before Steve Martin dies. You heard about Donald Sutherland, right?
Yeah, I did. Oh, that. Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
What a downer. It's not funny that happened, but I just showed Louisa clips from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's right.
Yep. And God,
he comes from a famous family, doesn't he?
Well, Kiefer is his son.
Thank you.
So I'd say Kiefer comes from a famous family.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the breakdown of the Sutherland family, but
no, but what I mean, I guess, is there's several people in that family.
Does he have another one that never did well?
Honestly, I don't know, but
something tells me he had, because sometimes they have one that's famous and one that just gets no notoriety whatsoever. Mm-hmm. We're both looking this up simultaneously, but I have a feeling.
So for a second, can you go back to the Hundreds of Beaver movie?
Yes.
Hundreds of Beavers movie. You said what about it in the U of M, the university?
You said it was here at the.
Oh, that's what you're. Okay, yeah. It played locally. Yeah.
Oh, he was married 3 times.
Wow.
Children: Kiefer, Rostiff, and Angus. Oh, he's got 5.
Wow.
Rosif Sutherland was an actor. Never heard of him.
Interesting.
Career. Appeared in films Timeline, Red Doors, and reoccurring. Wow, he didn't really take off, did he? I don't think. He was in The High Life with Timothy Oliphant and Russell Peters and Greg German. He appeared with his dad in The Con Artist. Well, I don't.
Who was his dad? Oh, sorry.
Come on. God, you are tired. Who's the other
happens.
kid? Angus. He was, God, his Wikipedia is even shorter.
That is really sad.
His father, Donald Sutherland, this is Angus. His father, Donald Sutherland, gave him the middle name Redford, or Robert Redford, because he liked Robert Redford so much more than his own kid. Doesn't say that. Who had directed Donald in Ordinary People? Did you ever see Ordinary People?
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that was from 1980. God, I remember when that came out. I was 5 years old, or 6. Directed by Robert Redford. It was featured directorial debut. Screenplay
I don't think I've seen it.
No, you haven't. This is way before your time. Screenplay by Alvin Sargent, based on the 1976 novel of the same name by Judith Guest. That woman has had a career. The film follows the disintegration of a wealthy family from Lake Forest, Illinois, following the accidental death of one of their sons and an attempted suicide of the other. Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore, Judd Hirsch, and Timothy Hutton.
Have you seen this movie?
No. But I'd like... you got to remember that, like, when I was growing up, way before the internet, when movies would come out, they would get, you get all the previews on commercials on TV. Mm-hmm. And movies stuck around for a while. I mean, they'd be at the show for months. Mm-hmm. And so they really got into the zeitgeist. And, like...
I miss those days.
Movies like... I remember movies that fell within this timeline, like Ordinary People, Kramer versus Kramer, which was Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, and they were going through a divorce. On Golden Pond, with Henry Fonda. They were more sentimental, heavier movies, but I didn't see them as a kid, but I knew about them because parents were talking about them.
Yeah.
Or The Big Chill. All the stuff like that was right around that time. Like Grand Canyon was Lawrence Kasdan's 1990, I don't want to say version, but his 1990 movie, and The Big Chill was his big 80s movie.
I see.
So, yeah, Timothy Hutton, I think, was the one who killed himself.
I think I've seen this movie on Golden Pond.
Oh, yeah, it was a very...
Recently. Well, in the last year and a half, 2 years maybe.
Yeah, it's...
Because they showed it at the Michigan Theater. Like,
it was like for 40-somethings
I definitely saw this.
For 40-somethings, it was it was the drama.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah, I could see that.
So.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely see, yeah.
So. Well, again, it's another short one, but we're at the 30-minute mark. We'll hit you with some dailies. We've gotten a zillion dailies. So, like we told you last time, we'll just give you the most current one we're recording, and we'll flip around the blacklist, find another one for you. But expect a review sooner or later of 100 Beavers. What is it?
100 Beavers.
100 Beavers. Yeah.
I think it's hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers.
Hundreds of beavers. I can't wait to see that. I haven't said that about a movie in a long time. All right, that's it. Hugs and kisses. Toodaloos.
Okay, bye. Thanks for listening.